Today is Saturday, September 14th, 2024. I'm camping up at Rennselaerville State Forest. Um, Friday, I remote worked from up here, and today I've just doing some hiking and some work stuff. Just kind of been, hanging out, doing a lot of different walks around the woods, studying the wildflowers and the views, just watching the chipmunks and the squirrels in the woods. And yeah, it's pretty much a standard camping site. I'll show you around. There's my truck. And there's the campsite. I haven't started a fire yet. I'm going to fire a little bit. Got some firewood together. I just got to get I might cook some dinner up too. Just kind of hanging out, relaxing, enjoying camp. It's a nice evening. It's been a beautiful day. It was mild, really nice for mid-September. Um, yeah, so, Rensselaerville State Forest hasn't changed much. I've been coming up here usually mid-September for a couple of years now, in part because I can remote work up here, and because it's nice up here. I do have the cell service, so I got my ebooks and audio and radio and all that stuff. And it's a quick drive from home. It's literally only 35 minutes from my house out to here, 24 miles. There's like one stoplight and one stop sign, a couple of very short speed zones, so it's great. I'll probably come up here a lot more in the winter, come now that it's getting cooler out. But yeah, I wanted to go to Vermont this week, but I need to get a new chain on my bike, and so I wanted on Friday to work from home to start out the day. I worked down at the library, then I went to Steiner's, and they told me, they said, "Oh, the chain's too shot. You gotta replace the gears." And I said, "No, I just did that 4 months ago. That's bullshit." So I was gonna do the chain myself. I said I would stop by Mad Dog, get their advice, and they said they just put a new chain on. It wasn't that far gone. I should have done it a little sooner, but it's annoying because literally I've had the chain on there for 4 months and I've kept it well lubricated. They're like, "Well, you put so many miles on the bike." I don't know. If this becomes an issue, I may have to get a different bike. But I like riding to work and around. But I should have the bike back by early next week, and then I can go back to riding into work each day. And maybe I'll go to Vermont next week. And I also assume I go to Vermont on Friday the 13th. I just have these paranoid fantasies of being in a wreck or something terrible happening on the Friday the 13th, or getting busted for having pot in National Forest, Vermont. That's stupid, but it's always a possibility. So yeah, I didn't go out to Vermont. Did screw up one thing at work on Friday. I ran a label job. She was on Thursday, and I got the wrong count because something was messed up for the target, and I didn't catch it till one of the code things in the code that I used to process the data caught it, and then I didn't catch that it stopped the program, and I never saw the output and never sent it along. But it wasn't that big of a deal. It was, a 30 or $40 expense out of a, $2 million or $2.5 million budget. So it's whatever. I made my apologies. Nothing really got, there was nothing serious came out of it. And same to the bike. It was frustrating. Steiner's like, "Oh, we got to put new gears on it," when that's BS. But hopefully the bike will. I was having no problems before. I wasn't having gear skipping or any kind of issues like that. So I just noticed the chain seemed a little bit more slacky and a little bit of clicking. So I said I better get that in before if it gets bad and I need new gears, like happened previously. But yeah, maybe I'll learn how to start doing more of my own work on the bike. I gotta say it's beautiful out here in Rensselaerville. Though I sat out in Cheese Hill for a while. I had a little bit of a smoke before I went for a walk, and just the colors and the beauty. You can see on the blog how beautiful things are out here. It's not really fall colors yet, but the goldenrod are very rich, and some of the leaves start to turn, and deep blue skies today. A little bit of haze, but it was just fantastic. One thing, all the mosquitoes are still biting, and she could slap one right now. So I'm just laying back in the hammock, just doing some thinking. I probably should do some work this evening, and then I should start a fire. Maybe figure out what's for dinner. I don't really have a lot. I have what I normally have, which is zucchini and onions and stuff. And I'll probably that's what will end up happening, but I'm getting a little tired of that. winter's coming. Gotta start doing some rice or some beans or um, I think pea soup will be good. Make some of my own homemade bread. I don't eat any store bought bread. I really try. I don't bring any processed foods home. I really try to stay away from anything that's really high in calories or isn't basically very basic raw ingredients. I really try to look at the whole nutrition thing now that I've gotten older. I mean, I've gotten a lot skinnier because of that, and a lot healthier, a lot more energy. It's helped the mental health too, and all that other stuff. So yeah, and I mean, just a lot of thinking, um, about my future, just about how things are in this world, and been doing a lot of blogging, a lot of short things, a lot of stuff about cannabis. That's a topic I'm just so fascinated with. Just the whole idea of mind-altering drugs and how it, I don't know what it means for identity and the whole politics of it all. It's a very fascinating topic. I mean, I don't smoke very much. I mean, I'll have like a hit or two, maybe while I'm camping, and then I haven't had anything in 2 weeks. So you get a lot better high too if you don't smoke regularly. And I've learned you really just don't want to get super high because you get really stoned. I mean, you might laugh a lot, but then you basically pass out from exhaustion, and it just isn't. It's stupid to be, to get sleepy. You want to do it so you just can enjoy the colors and the nature and the sparkling of the leaves and the waterfalls and stuff. You don't want to be a zoned out. At least I don't. I mean, I guess if you're in a lot of pain or you're trying to recover from something, I guess that makes sense. But I'm here for the experience, just to try to understand myself, the world around me. So I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been doing a lot of work. I've had so many daily jobs for work between my state job and the campaign committee. Most of the campaign committee at this point, but I'm still trying to develop stuff for the state and get my state hours into. It's just been busy, busy, busy. I have so many different things, and I keep volunteering to do new things, and I have ideas of code to make things better and processes more efficient and more accurate. And I mean, I'm doing really good work. I know it, but it's tough. And well, I'm still in my apartment in Delmar. I actually saw the landlord Friday. He said he's hopefully gonna get things finished up. I'm just tired of them working late in the night and grinding and tractors roaring next to my unit and they had a ditch switch going midweek, which was really annoying. They're burying a water line, and at the same time, I know they're fixing up the apartment, so they kick me out. But I love it out here. I'd love to. I really would like to build the cabin out here, but it's such a long commute, and in the winter, and just having to wear out automobiles so quickly, spend so much on gas, and still have to live in New York and put up all that bull crap, and it's a lot of work to build a house, a lot of permitting, a lot of contractors, design, and just choices. I mean, but at the same time, I don't really want to buy one of those just, some used 1950s stereotypical house, or even something old or something newer, but just vinyl siding, the white wall, having 20 different rooms. Like, mom's like, well, don't you want a room for your home office? I'm like, no. There'd be a whole nother room to clean. It's a whole nother room to have junk and garbage piling up in it, stuff that you really don't want. It just becomes clutter if you have space, in my experience. I mean, even I know people who are fairly well off, they just have too much stuff, and I just don't want a lot of stuff. I don't want to heat a big room. I realize so much as basically one room where I could heat with a little wood stove, have like one or two light bulbs, you know. People say, oh, you just want like a 1920s or 1930s poor person's cabin where every single light bulb hung over the kitchen table and a wood stove in the corner that you cook on and, a little spot for your bed and, an outhouse out back. I'm like, absolutely I do. But people think I'm nuts. Well, it's getting dark. We're at 10 minutes here. This was just going to be a video about camping, and then I started talking about my life and the craziness of it all, but there's just been a lot. I mean, but work is really just taking up everything. I mean, I keep looking at Zillow, I keep looking at landed farms, I keep looking at reading about books about building cabins and building houses and reusing old wood. That's one of the big things. Reusing old building materials and building a house, uh, and permitting, and just it's not easy. I mean, uh, I've sketched out drawings of what I would want. People say, "Oh, it's not going to be that expensive. Land's a big thing," which is probably true, but I also got to figure out what I can actually get permitted. There's all kinds of code considerations. I mean, it gets complicated, especially if you want to do anything non-standard. I mean, I don't want to go so far, like really far out, like a straw bale house or some really unconventional building materials. But I also don't want the plastic crap that everything is built out of nowadays. I mean, I'm fine with using some, quality building materials that are modern, but I don't want to have the vinyl siding, and I don't want to, I really want the cabin aesthetic, and I just want simple, and it's really hard to find anything that's simple and not humongous. I mean, that 750 square foot house I toured was much too big for my liking. And I don't want to go tiny house, but I also don't want to really go much above 500 square feet if at all possible. People say, but what about your big living room to have your TV? I don't want a TV. I don't want a lot of room for entertaining people. If they want to come over to my place, I say, I'll have an extra chair or two at the dining room table, or the table you can sit at. And yeah, it's going to be in the same room as the stove, and maybe there won't even be a room wall around the bedroom. I don't know. I just want to go simple. It's tough, though. It's really tough to figure out. And I do need to find a place, because I'm going to get evicted at some point. I mean, landlord seems all cool, and he seems like a nice guy, but I know. I mean, I've watched what they've done with the unit next door. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it looks like it's a very, they've tried to, that old building, that unit next door, to a modern, I'd say like a modern apartment, really, with, brand new white wall, and, they're going to have all new appliances and vinyl siding on the outside. And I mean, it's looking fantastic, but $1,100 a month, nah. I mean, that was the price the landlord offered to me, and the thing is, I just don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. I don't know. Now we're at 12 minutes. It's getting dark. I should get a fire going. I'm not going to say, list out all my plans now, but yeah. Have a great evening, everyone. From Rennselaerville State Forest on September 14th, 2024.